Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Is it Happy Friday? Every Friday's happy, I suppose. Let me take my phone out of my pocket. But good morning. Sam here, United People's TV, here with the last live show of the week. And I tell you what, I've got a really interesting conversation, I think, to have with you this morning. About Ten Hag, about INEOS, about them building a better Manchester United, which they've been doing since they came in February. But I don't know, something's sort of not switched up in my mindset. But I want to explain it in this video, and I'm definitely going to do it as my lunchtime video today. But we're going to be speaking about internationals. Garnacho getting his first assist. I think that was his first assist for Argentina. Anyway, he got an assist last night for Argentina off the bench. Lisandro Martinez. Bruno was playing. Delo got a goal. Ronaldo's 900th. McTominay, of course, he scored for Scotland. Man, he's a Terminator for Scotland. And we're going to run through a conversation around Jamie Jackson's article in The Guardian yesterday about Ten Hag being on thin ice, or Ten Hag needing to prove the game model. And then we're going to speak about Sam Erith's appointment, a new performance director, another change. So I have updated the structure, and I've got a new structure to show you this morning. We'll speak about the Europa League squad being announced. We'll speak about my video yesterday. You'll fire in your comments. You know the drill by now. All right? Let's have a look. Monty, you're off to uni tomorrow. Good luck. Man, the first year of uni. I mean, it's different now because it's so expensive. First year of uni, man. I had a good time. Good morning to you, Carl. Good morning to you, Ant, as well. Nice to see you here back here, buddy. T, I think I saw you start the show. Josh, you'll always be there. There he is. Good morning to the other ones. Chris, good morning to you. Hirishi, we've got Fizz, we've got Lone Wolf. Stephanie, good morning to you. Andrew, Teresa, and Oli. And on Facebook, we've got Danny, we've got Chris Wayne, we've got Emady, Nuhu, and Siraj. Good morning to all of you. Let's get into the show today. I think it's going to be quite a good one. As I said, I'm really interested to hear your perspective on something I want to say about Ten Hag and INEOS. But let's talk about the internationals first and foremost. Last night, Argentina playing their latest, once they've got turn notifications off on something there, do not pop up on my screen. Thank you very much. Let's go back here, back where we were. Argentina smashed Chile last night. They are absolutely cruising in their World Cup qualifier campaign. There's only one group, isn't there, out in South America? Brazil. Does this mean Brazil aren't going to qualify? Any South American United fans in the comments here, right? South American World Cup qualifiers. Is that what it is? Give me the table. Standings. Right? I had a look at this earlier. Does this mean that Brazil aren't going to qualify for the next World Cup? Can't quite see it. It's a little bit cut off there. But you can see Argentina are first. Brazil down is sixth. Having played 6 games, they got 7 points. They're 6 points behind Uruguay. Does that mean that Brazil aren't going to qualify? I don't know. Anyway, sucks for you. But Argentina absolutely cruising at the top of the table. Lisandro Martinez played the full 90 minutes, kept a clean sheet, and had a very, very good game. You can go and check his stats out. I was going to bring him up on here, but I forgot. Oh, well, exactly. He had a cracking game. And this man, that's not Dybala. That is Garnacho when he was a kid wearing Dybala's shirt, and last night coming off the bench in the last 10 minutes and grabbed himself an assist for Argentina with his new Slim Shady hairstyle. Man, that's not even blonde. That's just straight up white. Anyway, congratulations to Garnacho. I don't know whether that was his first assist or not, but it's good to see United's players. I'll tell you what, it feels like, well, let's see in the next international break. But the last few international breaks I can remember, Man United players have done really well. Last night, we had a little cheeky goal from Diogo Delo. Cheeky assist from Bruno Fernandes. Garnacho got a goal. McTominay doesn't count anymore, I suppose, but he scored for Scotland. I'll speak about him next. And I do want to say congratulations to Ronaldo. 900. Is that 900 career goals? I'm guessing it's not. He hasn't scored 900 for Portugal, so it's definitely 900 career goals. Seemed very happy with himself. Ronaldo's YouTube channel. God, man, he's got like 57.7 mil subscribers. I look at it going, it could be so much better with how they're structuring videos and the video choices and the titles and the thumbnails, but it doesn't matter. He's still got like 57 million subscribers. That is unreal. Talk about a fan base. And you know something that I think I only, tell me if I'm wrong with this, and I only realized this must be about 4 weeks ago. You know how fans of players are called stans? Is that because of Eminem's Stan song? Of course, where he's got a psycho fan. I think it is. And if it isn't, then it makes sense to me in my head. But I think that's why like Uber fans are called stans. But the penny only dropped with me on that one like last month, which is ridiculous because I'm such a big Eminem fan. But I'm pretty sure that's right. That's bad, isn't it? It's bad that I never realised that. Anyway, congratulations to Ronaldo. But yeah, Garnacho got an assist. Lisandro Martinez played 90 minutes, had a great game. Dalot got a goal. Bruno got an assist. Yeah, I never realised that was the reason stands were called stands. I can't believe that. Anyway, at least I realised now. And congratulations to McTominay, who scored. Unfortunately for him, Poland came back. They got a 97th minute winner. Anyway, internationals, plenty happened with United players last night. And all good, really. Let's get into the main part of the show, right? Sam Stans. No, don't be Sam Stans. I don't want to be writing a song. I really thought that in the follow-up, in Eminem's latest album, I really wanted him to do a follow-up. I just had this like concept in my head that I thought would have been an amazing song, where he does a follow-up to Stan, and it's like version 2, but then it's sort of him writing to Slim Shady or Slim Shady writing to Eminem, and at the end of it, kills himself in the same way that Stan. Spoiler. Anyway, I thought that would have been a good follow-up to Stan, like a Stan 2, but it didn't happen. I thought it was a good idea anyway. Let's talk about what we actually are here to talk about. Erik Ten Hag, okay? As I said, it feels like it's not that I've had a switch in mindset, but I think this little bit of news yesterday has sort of sparked a thought process for me, and I want to explain it now. And I'm going to explain it in today's lunchtime video in far more detail. Okay? This came out yesterday from Jamie Jackson saying Ten Hag is at risk unless the game model impresses INEOS, impresses Ashworth, impresses Barada. Now, whether or not Jamie Jackson has just pulled this from thin air, it's absolutely correct. And it is absolutely true. Ten Hag is not in a position where he can just sit all season long, underwhelm, and there be no progress. That will not be allowed in the new structure that we have. And I spoke about, I'm going to keep referring back to it because I don't need to say anything more about what I expected from Erik Ten Hag this season. And I said in that if there's going to be a Ten Hag Manchester United 2.0 and everything's going to change, then this is what we need to see. And it is all directly linked and directly related to the game model. So far, we haven't seen that. Well, to be fair, I think we saw some of it against Fulham. I think we saw parts of it against Brighton, not quite as much. And then Liverpool all just went out the window. And Emma, you're saying that it's a personal opinion from Jamie Jackson. That's fine. I'm not saying that this is based on fact. But what I am saying is that this feels correct either way. I think Ten Hag is at risk. And this is the point I wanted to make this morning, right? And as I said, it's based off the back of this conversation. Conversation? Jeez, I need to stop looking at the comments where people are talking about Stan. I'm getting so distracted by Stan. Shouldn't have mentioned it. Shax, good morning to you, dude. Thanks for gifting 5 memberships. But Sam Erith, right? Sam Erith has been brought in. Mike Keegan with the news yesterday that INEOS have made another structural change. And this is Sam Erith coming in as a performance director. Now, he's worked at Man City. He's worked with England. He's worked with Tottenham. And just to give you a little clue, well, not a clue, it's an idea of what he's going to do. Listen to this little 15-second clip.
We have a large team here at Manchester City that are all geared up to support the manager's preparation for games. We have medical staff, nutritionists, fitness coaches, sports scientists. All of us are actually trying to help Pep achieve his goals with those players.
So that's Sam Erith. Sorry about that, it was a little bit loud. I hope I turned it down quick enough. Sam Erith, as a performance director, is basically in charge of all the fitness related. Now, you could say that the head of sports science at Manchester United should be doing that, Gary O'Driscoll. But in the same way that Dan Ashworth could technically be considered a director of recruitment, I think United are going to be looking at bringing one in to actually physically be the head of recruitment, and Dan Ashworth is in charge of him. In the same way that Gary O'Driscoll will be the head of sports science, but more of the hands-on man, it looks like that's going to be Sam Erith. And Manchester United are continuing to make changes, right? And the reason I'm linking this back to Erik Ten Hag, which I will definitely try and explain, that's the wrong one, that's the right one, which I'm going to be explaining in my lunchtime video. I think for the first time, look, whenever we've had a manager struggling previously, okay, we've had plenty. There's always been a massive fear of if or when they are sacked, we scrap everything and we go back to stage one and the rebuild begins again. I don't really think that about Erik Ten Hag and the current position of Manchester United. And I'm also, that's what I mean. I feel like I've really, I don't know. I've got more of a focus on this kind of long-term vision now that I don't think I need to get bogged down too much in a game-by-game basis. If Erik Ten Hag loses against Southampton, I'm not just going to immediately think he's going to be sacked. If Erik Ten Hag beats Southampton and beats Barnsley and we beat Spurs, I'm not automatically going to think Erik Ten Hag is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think INEOS are going to be looking at Erik Ten Hag, right, and everything that's going on, and I actually feel that Gary Neville was pretty bang on. You know when Gary Neville said before the, was it Liverpool game? I don't know when it was. It might have been after. He said that Erik Ten Hag can't afford for Manchester United to be in 7th or 8th place come November. They need to be in the top 4. They need to be competing in and around those areas. And I think Gary Neville is spot on. And I think that's probably, in my opinion, you know how we heard, well, we saw and we heard the interview that happened before the Liverpool game between Ashworth and Barada with the press. And they said that Erik Ten Hag has our backing. And that's completely correct. I think Neville's right in the idea that INEOS and all of those involved will be looking at probably in November as a not a line in the sand, but a November where, okay, from now until November, this is Erik Ten Hag's opportunity. There's going to be setbacks. There might be defeats against Liverpool. There might be brilliant wins. Who knows when it would be? If we beat Spurs or if we beat Villa, there's going to be big peaks as well. But they're not going to be distracted by the peaks and they're not going to be distracted by the lows. INEOS are going to focus on where are we by November? Because by that point, Ugarte would have settled in. Xerxes would have settled in. De Ligt would have settled in. And it feels like they won't make a snap judgment, but it feels like INEOS at that point, if they decide that the progress isn't there, that we're not seeing the game model being built, then around about that time, they will either stick or twist with Erik Ten Hag. That's kind of what it feels like to me now. And that's what I mean. Like, I don't think there's any need to be swept away by a big loss. Like, saying that, I was swept away by the Liverpool game, and that's kind of what's... I I lost a little bit of belief in Erik Ten Hag because of that Liverpool game. Truth be told, I did. Because it was a direct repeat of all the stuff that happened last season. And there is in life, there is nothing wrong with making mistakes. But to come into the next season and to just repeat the same sort of structural mistakes that we saw all last season that I thought we got rid of, and I was like, you just can't do that. You just can't do that. So yeah, I want to try and explain this in a bit more of a coherent fashion in a lunchtime video. Can I just say there, before I got started there, Gary and Gaz, yeah, double Gaz, gifting 10 memberships each. I tell you what, I've got to bring Casemiro out for that. The dust has settled on that. Big up to both of you dudes.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello.
Now, I'm going to go down and try and read some of your comments here, okay? Abner, you're saying the appointment is yet another proof of how far behind the club has been in structurally and hampered managers and players. Mate, I think I said this to you early this week. If there was one manager I could choose that had this structure at Manchester United, I would definitely have chosen Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to have that sort of support. And let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. Alex saying that for Ten Hag to be survive, he needs to be tactically flexible, even mid-game. For Ten Hag to survive, it's not about Ten Hag. For Ten Hag to progress in the way that he needs to progress, the control has to come in games, and we know that. INEOS are not looking for United. Hey, look, we can be the greatest transition team in the world. That's great. But as I said in that video a while ago, transitional football has to be like a weapon that you've got in the drawer, not just your plan A. You have to have the ability to burst on a counter, just like United's greatest teams did. And that is kind of part of United's DNA. Have that transitional ability just to, out of nowhere, just burst up the field and score a goal that a team can't stop. It's a great thing to have, but it can't be your main weapon. Your main weapon has to be build-up, controlling the game, patterns, repeated patterns, which, again, we just haven't seen. And that's what we need to see that between now and November. And that's kind of where I feel I'm at now. And what I think Ten Hag has got to do. And I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to say. So everything that's happened behind last season, right? You won the FA Cup final. Clearly, INEOS were looking at alternatives. Just in case. They were assessing the market. And they went, you know what? We're going to stick with what we've got. And the summer happened, and 2 new assistants came in, and everything that's happened behind the scenes. Ten Hag has got what he needs now. I'm going to read some of your comments here. Steve, you're thinking, I think we controlled the Fulham game and Brighton game, but mistakes really let us down. I think Ten Hag needs to look at how to minimise those kind of errors, as they will always happen. I mean, that's completely true. But with everything in life, unexpected things are going to happen. Individual mistakes are going to happen. But if your whole approach can be undone by one individual mistake, then you're not creating contingency plans. You're probably being a little bit over risky, which is what we do when we go forward. That's why we have the overload up front. But then if we mistake a pass, then Mazraoui is like 20 yards further forward than he needs to be, and then you've got Luis Diaz clear at the back post. And you're saying right now it feels like Ten Hag doesn't have any letters. It's not plan A, it's not plan. I think we know what plan A is, and it still feels like the transitional football. Saying that, I do agree with the comment from there. So I think we actually controlled Fulham. I watched a Fulham game and I was like, that feels like a new United. There you go. There it is. I wasn't pointing at it. Bruno getting 2 or 3 chances, the lack of clinical finishing, but Xerxes came up with the goal. Brighton, I think we kind of just got... We were unlucky against Brighton, but I think they were the better team on the day. 54 Dunk, you're saying, I lost some belief after Brighton. It does feel the same again every season under Ten Hag. We have started with 1 or 2 defeats, but that Liverpool defeat was purely on having no attacking presence. I mean, it wasn't. It was very much on the entire structure of the team, and unfortunately how 2 individual errors took all the wind out of our sails and we couldn't recover. Rich is saying, do you not think he will be given until the January transfer window to shore things up? We are still wanting in lots of departments. I don't personally think that INEOS would just happily write off the next few months after the summer that we've had, which is a very positive summer, by the way. And then just say, okay, well, at the end of January, when you get new signings in, and then those new signings are settled, so you can't really judge until March. I really do think that, and I'm not just jumping on it because Gary Neville said it, I've really thought about it, but it feels like that November international break is probably going to be the time when we find out what's really going on. I think INEOS will continue to back Erik Ten Hag. If we lose to Southampton, you'll hear the same thing. I doubt very much there'll be... Look, of course, if Man United lose the next 6 games in a row, things change. But I don't think United will. I think we will have good games. I think we will have bad games. But it's up to Erik Ten Hag to stop the peaks and the troughs coming from week in, week out, and just slowly... Oh, that was a little bit better than last week. That was a little bit better than last week. That was a little bit better than last week. And just continuously, slowly go upwards instead of going up and down and up and down. And that's why I do think that the November international break. So if we say, right, the November international break, how many more games is that? Bear in mind, we've had 3 so far this season. Fixtures. Let's run through this. Oh, God. What was happening to Man United's website? Man, how's Man United's website so bad? Jeez. Can I just show you how bad United's website is here? You go on fixtures and you click all. What about the women's team? Oh, they won't. What about the men? Right, okay. So, let me just quickly go on Google. Man United's fixtures. Before the before the 3rd international break. Okay? Because there's one every month, remember that. So we've got Southampton, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games, right? Up until the 9th of November, where their next break is. 13 games. Akash, I already did refresh the website. It didn't work. Anyway, 13 games that we've got between now and the 3rd international break in November. It's not 13 games to save your job. It's 13 games to prove to INEOS that this game model is actually there. Because I think there were elements of it. In fact, I think it was there against Fulham. I think there were elements of it against Brighton. But ultimately, the mentality collapsed and we went out. We lost 2-1. And then Liverpool was just a humiliation and abysmal. Because individual mistakes ruined it. I think it makes sense. That, I don't know, just... It's really hard, as United fans, and just, I suppose, in modern day football, a lot of it exists in the extremes. You're either like the greatest player ever, or you're the worst player ever. You're either selling a player or you're keeping the player. You can't possibly exist somewhere in the middle. You can't have doubts, but actually ultimately like a player. No, you have to exist. You're either Ten Hag in or you're Ten Hag out. I've got doubts about Erik Ten Hag. Someone asked me, and I think it might have been in that comment that someone left on the live show the other day, asking my opinion of whether Erik Ten Hag will be at the end of the season. And I said, honestly, I probably don't. I don't think so. But I genuinely hope so. I genuinely hope that Erik Ten Hag can come through these next 13 games and absolutely cement a game model that makes sense. And that involves controlling games of football. Will Ugarte make a difference towards that? I hope so. I mean, he has to. He absolutely has to. Exactly. SJW there. Quite simply, he's got 13 games to show progress has been made on the pitch. Because, and let me run through this now, so much progress has been made off the pitch that I think the concept of giving him until November is enough time. All right, I did this. When did I do this? I can't remember. I don't know. I did a video during the summer saying like these are all the changes that have happened at Manchester United, and this is the new structure. Now, of course, things have now changed, right? Vamos. 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 All right? Dominic Jordan, Andy O'Boyle, and Steve McLaren have all left the club. And we've now got this. So I updated this morning. Ta-da! This is now Manchester United's structure. What changes have happened here? Well, you have got Sam Erith, who's been brought in as a performance director. Now, he is, as you can see, he's got a direct line into Eric Ten Hag there, because he's going to be the one in charge of fitness, of recovery. Is everybody fit? What's the problem? Gary O'Driscoll will be his boss, but Sam Erith, as a performance director, will come in and make sure that all the physios know exactly what they're doing. All the rehab for every single player is going exactly as it should do, right? That's why he's been brought in. No Steve McLaren there anymore. You've got Rennie Hack and Ruud van Nistelrooy. Now, Dominic Jordan. Oh, wrong one. Balls. Dominic Jordan has gone as head of data science. So I fully expect Manchester United to appoint a new head of data science, which is different to performance director, by the way. Data science is all about the data. And Dominic Jordan left. You can see over here. Oh. Dominic Jordan, he left Man United after 2 years. And then on top of this, we go to this article from, no, not that one. This one. From Sammy Mockbell from the Daily Mail. Saying Man United are still open to adding a senior recruitment specialist into the transfer department. And I could see that, I could really see that happening. And if that was to happen, you can see over here, he would come in as a head of recruitment. Dan Ashworth would be his boss, but he'd be in charge, therefore, of Christopher Vivell, who's currently Director of Global Talent, and Steve Brown, who's still involved in the recruitment operations. So I don't think Sam Erith... Oh, yeah. Sorry, we've got a new set-piece coach. I forgot to add him on. Thanks, Gareth. I did forget someone. Sam Erith won't be the last senior appointment to the structure of United, I don't think. I think we're going to get a new head of data science. Obviously, we've got, what's his name? Can't remember his name. Set-piece specialist. Remember his face, not his name. George? Is it George? Don't know. Anyway. Head of recruitment. Akash, you're saying, I'd love to take Dougie Freedman. Dougie Freedman turned down the sort of director of sport, football director role at Newcastle to stay at Crystal Palace. I think he will stay at Crystal Palace. I would be surprised if we were able to bring him to the club in just a head of recruitment role to work above Chris Vivell and below Dan Ashworth. I think he's probably too senior for that role. But this... I have so much belief in all the work that INEOS have done since February. And I think I saw somebody down there saying, like, United have done, like, Andreas Georgian. I thought he had George in his name. Come on. Well, I'm not going to celebrate too much because I didn't get his name. I got Georgian. Anyway, INEOS have done, like, 5+ years worth of appointments in like 4 months. So much. And it's going to take time for that to all completely... I suppose in the same way you would say that it takes time for football teams to gel when they've got new signings. I mean, the same exists with... The same... Maybe not the exact same. But when you build a business and you bring new people in together, it's going to take time for them to all sort of work perfectly and in harmony and to understand each other's working patterns and rhythms and habits. And once they get all of those, then things are going to start become a lot more natural and quicker. And that will come in time. But that is why I think that, and I'll be honest, I think 16 games feels like a fair amount of time for Ten Hag to be given and to then be judged at the end of. I think after 16 games, if you can look at this Erik Ten Hag team and you can say, well, consistently over in the last 3 months or 2 months, I've seen the same sort of patterns try to be built, and they're getting slightly better at it, and the game model is improving. If you can say that, and INEOS can see that, then Erik Ten Hag has got a chance. But if, after the next 13 games, coming up to that November international break, Barada, Ashworth, Wilcox, Brailsford, Ratcliffe are all looking at this United team, and it's still as disjointed as it was against Liverpool, my guess would be that there would be a mutual agreement for Ten Hag to leave, that Van Nistelrooy would come in as an interim manager, and that INEOS would wait until they get the exact man they want. And I don't know who that would be, by the way, because there have been. I'm not going to have any conversations about any managers. It's just this is. I'm trying to step back from what I think and trying to put myself into what I think INEOS and their approach will be. And that, I think, is a very reasonable amount of time. 16 games to really let the players settle in to new setup, new environment. Let's see this game model, Eric. All right. We've done everything that we need to do behind the scenes. Okay. We couldn't have done more. Summer-wise, I don't really think they could have done more. And yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna try and explain that in a little bit more of a coherent fashion in the lunchtime video. And I'm not talking about any managers down there. All right. Why do you think Sam's contract is interim as well? Says Brian. I'm guessing you're talking about Sam Erith. I've heard us for a little bit more details about that. Until the end of the season. Well, I suppose that's just, I don't know. Maybe they think, oh, my God, still the fitness levels are not there. Still, this is not working. We need something. And maybe in the short term, we need a boost. We need someone in right now. And Sam Erith might not be the perfect man for this in the long term, but let's just bring him on a contract at the end of the season. And if he is, he'll stay. But in the same way, Chris Favell came in on a short-term contract for the summer. He's now staying until January. And I would imagine he stays in the long term. Personal prediction. Maybe the same thing could happen with Sam Erith. Akash said, Sam, come on, you just said the changes need time to bed in, but on the other game, say the next 13 games are critical for Erik Ten Hag. Akash, you're completely mixing things there. I'm talking about the structural behind the scenes. I'm saying it's going to take time for this to settle in completely properly. But a lot of this is off the pitch. If you don't think that 16 games is a fair amount of time for Erik Ten Hag to be judged on whether this United team is different to last season, then fair enough. And you know I'm not somebody who's ever going to lead a witch hunt. So please don't put words in my mouth. I think 16 games, after all the changes, after the summer that we've had, after the appointments that were made, I think that's enough time for INEOS to reasonably consider that there should be progress with the game model of Manchester United. And that Liverpool game really didn't help him. Okay? That's a personal opinion. And football is about opinions. Okay? Darren saying, is he implementing the INEOS game model? No. Has he lost the players? Probably, obviously. I hope he can turn things around, but I can't see it. I mean, I think Manchester United was significantly different against Fulham. We played a very different game of football. It looked a lot more controlling, a lot more comfortable with it. Brighton, there were elements of that. The Liverpool game, I think the Liverpool game went out the window. And that was quite a damaging game for Erik Ten Hag, if you ask me, because when your backs are against the wall, when things aren't quite going your way, or when mistakes happen, yeah, that's sport, that's life, that's business, that's everything. Things are going to go against you. But United still, and we've conceded more last-minute losers, what do you call it? Last-minute goals that have led to defeats under Erik Ten Hag in the last 2 years than we did in the 30 years prior. Like, there is a clear inability to see out games. Did it. And saying, Sam, we need multiple game models. Hey, hold up here, man. Let's actually get one game model in first before we start talking about multiples, mate. All right? Run before you can walk. Falls absolutely into that. Ahmed saying we literally have more possession than Liverpool. He is implementing a different style, but come on, this squad needs a lot of work. Liverpool's front four press, it wasn't even that much of a press. I mean, it was a little bit of a press. They had us locked so badly. You have to have abilities to get around that. Contingency plans. All right, if Liverpool are going to press us in this way, well, then we know exactly what to do. And they kind of didn't. They went a little bit further forward. Talking about, yeah, I did look. It's just a personal opinion, all right? I think people are going to be, you're going to see it next week. More headlines. Ten Hag sacked next week. Ten Hag this, Ten Hag. I don't think any of those are correct. Unless, of course, we lose every bloody game. And if you lose every game, in any manager, in any job, it's going to be at risk, all right? That's a given. I think they're going to give him until November to really develop this game model, and that'll be enough time for the injuries to. Well, I'm not Euro, which sucks, but we've got De Ligt and we've got Martinez. Hey, just my opinion, all right. But more changes continue to happen, and whilst I might not have 100% belief in Erik Ten Hag anymore, which I think is completely and utterly fair, of course. I do have belief in what INEOS have done so far and in INEOS's thought process with Erik Ten Hag. They're not going to sack him off the back of one individual performance. They're going to have milestones and dates. And if things don't happen by this date, they're going to be looking down a different path. That's how they're going to operate, which is very different to how a fan operates. As fans, we can't help it. We get caught up in the moments. Hell no, I'm not looking back at my match reactions. Quite a lot of them. After the big defeats, after the big victories. You get swept away in it. You're emotional. Because you love it or you hate it. It's the opposite of how INEOS and how a business operates at a corporate level. It's very clinical. Has to be. Emotion kind of has to be removed. Hey, Linton. I'm not saying that I don't believe in Erik Ten Hag. I so want to see that football that we saw between January and February in his first season. I love that. Where has that been? I don't know. I don't think we've quite got there yet. Since. And yet, and football is that if we win the next 3-4 games, hypothetical, of course, but if we go and we beat Southampton, we beat Barnsley, we have a good performance against Spurs at Old Trafford, and we go and win away at Villa, then the whole momentum and the whole feeling around Erik Ten Hag will switch and change. Because that's what it does in the press, in the media, and in the fans. But INEOS won't really be looking at those. They'll be looking at, okay, let's focus on the game, but let's focus on the structure. Are we now seeing steps in the right direction? Now, 4 wins in a row would be steps in the right direction, and we'll show you that something is working. I've got faith. I'm not saying I'm Erik Ten Hag out in any way, shape, or form, and no doubt people will try and suggest I am. That's what I mean, because people only live in the extremes. You can't possibly have a conversation about something in the middle. Yeah, Crystal Palace in there as well. That's what I think, and I'll explain it more in the lunchtime video. Did it? Teklan, we should play as a team. That's football. That's the manager's task. Well, we did against Fulham. And we did in parts against Brighton. And we did in parts against Liverpool. But, not really. Now, yesterday, I did my video on the squad. These 2 videos I've had planned for a while. A transfer window review, and then a full review of the squad. Now, if you want to, go and check it out. And by the way, Somebody left this as a comment, and they're completely correct. I forgot that Lindelof existed. Completely forgot. I put like Jack Kindon down as like the third choice as right centre back, and Johnny Evans down as, and I think that really says a lot about it. I completely forgot he existed. I even went through the whole Man United squad page and got down there. That Alex, you're saying you're surprised I missed out Chido and Kone. No, man. I don't know why you're even slightly surprised at that. Anybody who's putting them into a first-team environment this season, you're being an idiot. I'm sorry. Chido is 16. Let the kid exist in the shadows of the academy for a year. Please. Don't mention him anywhere near the first team. Kone is an 18-year-old who's just come from Mali. Brand new country, brand new environment. I think he's even staying in a house with like a family to help him settle. Stop it. Stop it. All right? You want the people accuse United fans of building players up too high, too quickly, and then being disappointed when they can't deliver. And you want to speak about Obi Martin. I'm not even going to go at you here, Alex, but there's quite a lot of United fans saying this. You want me to speak about Obi Martin, a 16-year-old, as an option for our first team at United? Give your head a wobble. Now, Kone, at 18, let's find out. Will he be able to develop after 6 months, maybe, playing for United's academy, settling in? You'll know where he is. But right now, we won't. Of course, I know you're saying third or fourth choice, but neither of them should be involved in any conversations with the first team squad yet. Not as third choice, not as fourth choice, not even as fifth choice. Let them settle in. Let them actually be announced by the club. Chiro Martin's not even a United player officially yet. Anyway, it's frustrating. But the squad for the Europa League was announced yesterday. A couple of names in there. Of course, Harry Mass is there. So is Victor Lindelof, apparently. Taro Malacia is in there. The ghost of Christmas past. Is Kone 19? I thought Kone was 18. Sekou Kone. Nope. Yep, he's completely 18. I don't know why people make things up. And I'll say this down here for other people. Kieran, thank you very much for saying that. People are going down there saying, oh, Mainoo was 18. Mainoo was a Manchester United academy since he was a kid. He's literally he's into the club. Don't try and compare apples and oranges. People, better than that. Anyway, Taro Malacia is in the squad for the Europa League. I don't know what that means. It doesn't actually mean he's going to play. But it means he's close enough fitness-wise. Because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that Manchester United, if we get through this group league stage, whatever it's called, that in January or after January we can submit a new squad for the knockouts. I think that's right. So it means that there's a belief that Malacia will be back way before that. And geez, considering this goes until the end of January, you'd think so, right? Also, Lenny Yoro's in there. And if I'm correct, Lenny Yoro was ruled out for about 3 months. I think he did his injury on the 28th of July, so that's August, September, October. You might see Lenny Yoro come back at some point in November time-ish. That's when he'll be reintegrated. Probably after the international break, you would imagine, in November. So what would that be game-wise? Is that the games there? That is the games. After the international break, these are probably the games where you're looking where Lenny Yoro might be considered fit to play. Ipswich away. Perfect game for Lenny Yoro there, really. Bodo at home in the Europa League. Then against Everton at home in the Premier League. Away at Arsenal. Oh, that'll be a tough one. But he might be fit and ready for that. Anyway, Lenny Yoro's there. Who else is down there? Obviously, there's going to be certain players missing. Toby Collier's not there, but don't worry about that. Anybody who's under the age of 21 and is considered a homegrown talent can just be added in. So Toby Collier will be involved if he needs to be. Players from the B list can be brought up. That's probably why Ethan Wheatley's not there. And any other ones, right? But good to see Tyrone Malacia there. Good to see Lenny Yoro there. I was about to say Yenny Loro. I think I've said that before, actually. Something I want to say here, which is pretty cool, okay? Tomorrow, there is the Legends match at Old Trafford. And United People's TV is going to be in the press box. First time this has happened. And I really, in the future, if or when it happens, I'd love to be able to go to the press box and watch the games in the press box and give my match reactions from the press box after the game. That would be the dream for me. I love going to the game as a fan, but ultimately, this is now my job, so it's a bit of a shift and a difference. But Ollie, big up to you, is going to be representing United People's TV in the press box. So make sure you check out the Instagram account tomorrow. So there'll be loads of cool content on the Instagram account. Oh, voice just went there. Oh, there we go. David's feeling a bit angry. Let's read this comment out. As a YouTuber, Sam, you get licensed to run your mouth even out of your depth. The hypocrisy lies in your reactionary opinions for and against Eric Ten Hag. It's only 3 bloody games into the rebuild. Grow up. Thanks for that wonderful comment there, David. First of all, it's not 3 games into a rebuild. It's the 3rd season. Second of all, where's my reactionary opinions been? Have I reacted to the games? Yes. That's what a match reaction is. But I've just tried to coherently tell you why I think that Eric Ten Hag not has until November, but INEOS will be looking at that November date, in my opinion, and going, that's 16 games. I think that's probably long enough for us to judge whether this game model is going to be coming or not. I think you're the one who needs to grow up there, mate. If you don't want to have an adult conversation. That's true. You can go to another channel if you want. The door's over there. I try my hardest to be as level-headed on this channel as I possibly can. And that's what I mean. You can't. You're not allowed to have a conversation. Ooh. Woo. Jeez. Too much. Anyway, big up to everyone saying congratulations down there. I think it's a pretty cool stepping stone. So, yeah. Ollie will be in the press box for that game. And fingers crossed, it's a cool game. If you're going to get a chance to go to Old Trafford, enjoy it. Will Beckham be playing? I don't think Beckham's in the squad, is he? Look, you can see the squad there. You got Scholes, Nicky Butt, Michael Carrick, Wayne Rooney, Dimitar Berbatov, Antonio Valencia. I still reckon he's absolutely wamp. He must be, isn't he? Yeah, Ibuka. Look, people can throw accusations at me. Plenty of them, all right? I get loads of stuff wrong. We all do. But if you want to come and try and tell me that I'm reactionary and I chop and change here and there, the door is over there, my friend. If you don't want to stick around, that's fine. It's not about reacting to the trolls. It's I try my best to try and help United fans understand everything about our club. It's why I sit here and spend my time building club structures and hierarchies and everything else that goes behind the scene. Sabiso said, Ollie's at the wheel. It's going to be a coup, an internal coup. I'm going to get kicked out of it by Ollie. But look, let's wrap up today with something that's special and unique for this channel. First of all, the elevator music, which is still banging, by the way. I need somebody to rotoscope my head onto Austin Powers and give me a scene. Can someone do that? Anyway, it's map day. Let me know where you're watching from, the city and the country, and I will drop you on the map. We've got Morocco, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Nepal, Australia, South Africa, UK, Greece, Malaysia, Cameroon. Jeez. Loads on here. Let's get a few more of you on. How many are we on now? We're on 669 points. Damn. That is so many. Remember, I need the city and the town. City in the country, sorry. We've got Michael watching from Lausanne in Switzerland. Have you seen Lausanne play? Are they any good? Of course, that's part of the INEOS group, isn't it? Who's on Facebook? Let's try and get one from Facebook. We've got... look over there. Everyone on Facebook's just saying what country you're watching from. We've got Enbar watching from Port Elizabeth in South Africa. We've already got that on the map. It did it. Oh, look at that. We've got Al Haj watching from Seoul in South Korea. Is that a capital? I think it is, isn't it? Be amazing if it's not a capital. Do love a good capitals game. Let's go back to YouTube and get one more on here. We've got Louis watching from Indiana in the US of A. Awesome. On the map you go, sir. Or madam. Don't quite know. But look, I'm going to wrap that up for today. And I'm going to try and coherently explain what I was trying to explain in this video. And I'll do it in a more succinct fashion, all right? Thank you all for tuning in this week. It's the international break. We just got pumped by Liverpool, 3-0. Everyone's switching off. I understand. You didn't switch off. You all stuck around. Don't know why I just did that. Drop a like on the video. Thank you all. If you are new in town and you enjoy yourself, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to have a lunchtime video today on that opinion. And also tomorrow, a nice little mini doc on Ahmad, which I think you'll like. Have a cracking weekend, everybody. And let's see.